Hi everyone, Puma here, and for today's video, I'd like to talk about the manga series Fairy Tail, and the theory I have about the main character Natsu and Igneel, as well as a possible new antagonist, E.N.D. So I'm just gonna cut right to the chase here. I think that E.N.D, aka Dark Mage Zeref's strongest demon, is actually Natsu. I've got a couple reasons, but the most obvious is that E.N.D, it could stand for, I don't know, evil Natsu Igneel, Idolist Natsu Igneel, I don't know. The fact that two of Natsu's initials match two of the three initials in the strongest demon, that already sparks a little bit of a connection for me. That, as well as like what happened in the most recent chapter with Zeref confronting him and saying that like Igneel could not kill E.N.D. I think the fact that Igneel couldn't kill E.N.D was for two reasons. One, Igneel as Natsu's father was shown to be like a very kind dragon with strong morals, and if E.N.D was, at that time, Natsu as a kid, then it would make sense that the dragon wouldn't bring himself to kill a little child, even if it was going to be like the strongest demon of all time. Maybe Igneel thought rather than trying to kill E.N.D, he could raise it with better morals so that way it could be a more kind thing and maybe not become so much as a demon. And another reason why I think that Igneel could not kill or destroy E.N.D was because Natsu, as a fire dragon slayer, could absorb fire, so even if Igneel wanted to kill E.N.D, he couldn't because Natsu could just absorb the fire attacks. Because Natsu's supposedly like Zeref's strongest demon, it would make sense as to why like all the dragons would flee, because they wouldn't want to be around Zeref's strongest demon when it comes into fruition. And I'm pretty sure that Igneel, even though he's probably hesitant to leave his son, didn't want to die, so he, along with all the other dragons, probably just fled the scene, just so that we didn't have to like encounter Natsu as E.N.D, or the evil demon thing. And judging from the comments dropped by Zeref in the most recent chapter, it seems that like E.N.D is almost like a sleeper agent within Natsu. It seems as if it like comes out and acts periodically within Natsu's body before going back to being dormant. Judging from the sound of like how Zeref made it sound, like who's gonna come see me, you or E.N.D? The dragons probably must have witnessed Natsu's destructive power and realized, well, I'm getting out of here. So they all probably left because they didn't want to die, or maybe Natsu as E.N.D or E.N.D. I'm just gonna call him E.N.D instead of E.N.D because it's getting annoying. So I'm pretty sure that the dragons witnessed E.N.D's power, and because of that they all fled. Who knows, maybe the reason why Igneel isn't here anymore is because Natsu in the form of E.N.D killed them off already. Or quite possibly the reason why all the dragons are gone is because Natsu as E.N.D killed them all off. You never know. Another curious thing to note about Natsu possibly being a 400-year-old demon is that in the Battle of Fairy Tail arc, there was a curse that Creed put on the guild that prevented stone statues and people over the age of 80 from leaving the building. For some reason, Natsu, who was neither of those things, or seemingly neither of those things, could not leave the building either. And like, no one really explored upon this, except I thought that was a bit curious as to like, how is it that a supposedly 17-year-old guy or 18-year-old guy who was not a stone statue was affected by these enchantments? And since E.N.D is over or around 400 years old, it would make sense that Natsu, being more than 80, as shown by Freed's enchantment, is possibly within that same age range now. Like, it leaves it up to questioning whether or not Natsu is a lot older than he seems. And something else is back in the Tenro Island / S-ranked mage trial arc thing. It seemed very odd that Zeref knew Natsu so well, especially since like Natsu was just like wearing the whole WTF who the hell are you face. So that does raise another question as to like, how is it that Zeref knows Natsu already? As well as the fact that Natsu's already a lot older than he seems. I'm not sure if this was in a recent chapter or not, but Zeref did mention you've become quite big, Natsu, which implies that you've seen Natsu as a child, possibly alluding to Zeref creating Natsu in the form of E.N.D. Because of like the same initials, possible connection to Igneel, or possible connection to Zeref, and this whole age discrepancy, I feel like there's a lot of evidence here pointing towards Natsu and Igneel actually being Zeref's strongest demon, which could be one of the freakiest plot twists ever of all time, but it would be one that I'd like to see explored upon, and hopefully in the future, if this is actually right, then that'd be actually pretty cool. So, I mean, that's it for my theory video. I know I'm pretty rusty at it, it's been a while, but I promise I'll like get back in shape and make sure to make plenty more of these. Well, plenty more good ones. I'm not gonna compromise like my quality just to make quantity. So, I will see you guys around, and I guess that's it for today's video. Kokonoe, Puma-chan no... Oh yeah, and I forgot. If you're wondering about the whole cooking tea situation from my last video, well, I mean, he mellowed out, so that's good, right? But, you know what, whatever. Haters gotta hate, lovers gotta love, and he didn't seem to openly or outwardly hate my dishes, well, my group's dishes today, so I guess that's good. So all's well. Now if you excuse me, I've got a macroeconomics midterm to study for because it sucks like crazy, but これはピムちゃんのじゃあね。